It is Sue Crooks here, the founder of Love Biz and the host for many groups, along with our speaker today, our workshop expert, Julie Tushingham. And the theme for today is reputation matters. So I'm going to pass over to Julie to introduce herself to us and then go on to the workshop. So take lots of notes, enjoy, and then towards the end, when Julie has completed, we will switch off our recording to everyone watching on replay and then go into a Q&A session with everybody in the room today. So welcome, Julie. Welcome to our workshop, and thank you so much for giving us your time today. Would you like to introduce yourself to the room?
I would. Thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for this opportunity. And also, as you mentioned earlier, thanks to everyone for taking time out of today to spend it in this workshop today. I'm Julie Tushingham. For those that have met me, you know that I am absolutely crazy about helping women to flourish and helping businesses to create inclusive environments for where women can flourish. And I'm a reputation coach. And I've had my business since about 2019. I've worked with some exciting people. I've learned a lot along the way, and I have about 20 plus years of reputation management experience to share with you today. Not all of it, because we'd be here for a very long time, and many of you may be sleeping by that time. So no, I'm just going to hit the high points. I've got a system to go through today that will help you get some clarity, and I am open to Q&A at the end. I'll be asking you to engage in certain parts of it. There'll be no breakout rooms, but I will ask you to put comments in the chat around certain aspects of today. So have your keyboards at the ready. And thanks ahead of time for your time again and your attention. And I hope you enjoy it. Shall I go ahead and share my screen, Sue?
Please do, Julie. We're all excited.
Okay.
Can't wait.
Right. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Fantastic. Great. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about reputation matters and the 10 essential elements that all businesses have to grow and protect their reputation. These are things that sometimes we take for granted. It's a bit like, you know, having insurance on your home. You know that it's there, you pay for it, and you hope that it's there to help you when things go wrong or something happens. Reputation can work a little bit like that, but you gain so much more out of reputation if you make a conscious effort to know what it is and get the most out of it. So I'll be covering those points today. I'll also be touching on how reputation has changed in the last 20 years. Managing your reputation is not what it was even 10 years ago. There are different influences now basically around the digital age. You know, that has caused us to do so many things differently. And I'll be touching on that too. So let's get going. And Sue, I'll be checking in with you at some point on time because there's a lot to cover here. And I've had to trim it down, but I'm happy to answer Q&A at the end. So this is good. Okay. And we are not advancing for some reason. There we go. Good. So a little bit about me. I'm a recovering corporate reputation and communications expert. I worked in reputation management for most of my career. It goes back to, I always wanted people to help other people to look good. Goes back to my personal shopping days in the 80s when if you didn't have shoulder pads, who were you? Many of you have heard me talk about that, but I started off helping career-minded women who wanted to make a difference in meetings, you know, show up bigger, larger than life so that they could take up more space at the table. I'm sure we've all watched men do that. It's a, you know, it's a behavior. I've worked for large international corporations. I've been lucky to live and work all over the world. until I moved back to the UK after 30 years abroad and thought, yeah, I can get a job. I'd worked in oil and energy all my life. And then the bottom dropped out of the oil industry. They were laying off. I looked to retrain and discovered to my dismay that I was being discriminated against because of my age. When you're in the third act of your career, you can run up against issues like that. And it made me reflect on other times in my life when I had been discriminated against for being a mother, being a woman. And I thought, what do I really want to do with my career? And I actually worked with a coach to discover what gave me energy, what made me tick, what my why was. If any of you have listened to Simon Sinek, you'll know what I mean. And decided to retrain as a coach. I retrained for about 2 years and I worked for cake. I love cake. Cake and the beach are my two #1 go-tos. Cake is more easily accessible than the beach to me, but let's not talk about that. But anyway, so I was working with women, men, anyone who I could coach. I was like a sponge. I wanted experience and I wanted to learn. And people would say to me, gosh, you know, you've helped me. How can I pay you? Well, I didn't ask for payment, but I said, I love cake. And so my waistline suffered. My sugar intake increased. I tasted some beautiful cakes, loved it, and qualified as a coach. And now cake is just a luxury. I'm excited about what I do. I know why I do what I do, and I'm excited to work with you. I've worked with women at all stages of their career. Everyone I have worked with has grown and developed at different levels. I've worked with early career people. This young woman happens to be one of the can't get my words right, the youngest directors in the country. She has gone on to change policies at her organization that empower and help women. And she is very successful and humble. She's opened the door for women and other cultures and diversity within her organization, and she has left the door open. I am thrilled to work with people like this. This is where I get my energy. And Jenny is really making a difference in the world. Her reputation has been building just like ours since the day she was born. And so before we get into the workshop part of today, I'd like to ask you why you think reputation is important and what you think the benefits of a good reputation are. And if you could put that in the chat, that would be super. Great. Yeah. Mandy has said trust. Absolutely. Really important. Anyone else? Yeah, opens doors. Thank you, Tara. Yes, it does. Opens doors for lots of opportunities. Yep. Reputation is important for building trust and confidence. Yes. Referrals, honest, reliability and trust. Excellent. Love the referrals. That is super. Anyone else? Trust and confidence. Good. Yeah. Transparency. Yes. Yeah. Really important. We're going to be talking about that, Kate. Anyone else? Any other thoughts there? Recommendations and honesty. Caroline, I love that. That is a golden thread that runs through your business. I absolutely love that. And anyone who's talked to me will hear me talk about golden threads. Terry says trust and confidence. Excellent. All of these things. Trust is very important. Confidence, not just confidence in what you do, but for your clients to have confidence in what you do and what you deliver. Really important. Anything else there? Do I have everyone? Any other thoughts? Think I got everything? Yes, love it. Good. You've covered a lot of what I was going to just talk to you about. So let's have a look. It's easier to build your networks. This comes through trust and confidence. When you have a good reputation, people want to be around you. They want to spend time with you. And they'll offer you valuable opportunities. It increases your opportunities, a good reputation. It increases the opportunity to collaborate, to connect, to present, to talk about your ideas, to attract people to you, and to make you stand out from the crowd. And that is what we want. As female business owners, we want to stand out from the crowd. Referrals and customer loyalty. Someone on the workshop today mentioned referrals. In fact, I think it was mentioned a couple of times. Customer loyalty, it helps people to stay with you. It makes our jobs easier as business owners to continue doing the good work that we're already doing and build that trust and confidence that is so important in client relationships and important in building your reputation. Influence, it opens your zone of influence. People come to you and ask you questions. They realize that you're doing well, that you're successful, that people are coming to you, and they'll ask for your counsel. They'll ask for your ideas. They'll ask for your feedback. And from then you can influence outcome. Personal well-being. Now, this is something that is so important, and not a lot of people make the connection between reputation and personal well-being. Let me talk about that for a minute. When you have a good reputation, your pride in what you do increases, and therefore so does your confidence. And that pride and confidence in your offering and in your reputation lowers your stress level. It helps you remember how good you are when you pitch up for a new opportunity, when you start to talk about a new product, when you go in to meet people for the very first time. So it actually helps us manage our well-being. A good reputation helps our businesses grow, our opportunities grow, our personal well-being grow. It brings growth to what we do. And it increases our visibility. Whether we like it or not, when you have a good reputation, it does increase your visibility. There are detractors out there, so you've got to build your not only a sustainable, authentic reputation, but also your resilience. So be aware of that, and we can talk about that another time. But that increased visibility comes with great benefit, but it also comes with a little bit of risk there. So knowing what that is it's good to be aware of. Let me talk a little bit. Now we've covered that, let's move on to what we're going to cover in the workshop and the value to you. We'll be talking about how to make your reputation work for you and increase your opportunities. We talked a little bit about that, about the benefits. How your reputation helps you make better decisions. Whether you're fully aware of it or not, your reputation is like the lens through which you make your business decisions, particularly if you're strategic about how you want to build it. The advantages of good reputation, we've touched on that a little bit. I'll be talking about that a bit more as we go through. How to nurture your reputation. This is vital to a good reputation. This is, if not done properly, and I'm a keen gardener and I'll use this example later on, but if you don't nurture it, it can wither and die. And we've seen that just recently with things in the news about people being careless with the value that they have offered people for years in not coming forward and being transparent and honest in what they do and how they do it, and their reputation has suffered, and therefore the knock-on effects to that are immeasurable, really, because reputation is so important. It takes us years and years to build, but it can be lost like that if you do not nurture it. How to grow your business with reputation management. This is what we'll be talking about: how to manage your reputation, how to make it work from you and bring those opportunities to you, or increase your visibility, how you can flex it to meet your needs. Does this sound like what you want to know? I'm seeing some nods. This is great. Okay. A lot of people say, well, why you? Why work with you? What makes you stand out? And of course, we love stories. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Lame, who I began working with about 1.5 years ago. She is an absolute powerhouse. She is extremely confident. She's a key driver. She's strategic. She always knows what she wants. She shows up as a keen extrovert in any room that she's in. But she had an issue at work. She applied for a role that she was absolutely confident that she was going to get. She didn't. And it was the first time, as she admitted to me, that she had not succeeded at work. And she took this very hard, very hard. And she came to me and she said, I need help. For some reason, what I'm known for, what I'm relied on for, my expertise is not being valued. Do I change my job? I feel like I'm stuck. I can't even think straight. And I don't know what to do. Can you help me? I have to admit, ladies, I suffered from serious imposter syndrome when she came to me. She was so way up there that I thought, how can I possibly help this woman? And if any of you suffer from imposter syndrome, you'll know exactly what I mean. It rears its head every now and again. But I did some serious thinking and planning and put my big girl panties on and reminded myself of the value I could bring to her. And we mapped out a plan to get her back on track because she was stuck to the point where she was struggling to even write regular emails and interact with people that she had been very confident and comfortable in interacting with before. She even struggled to make recommendations. So much was her confidence impacted by this this thing that didn't go her way. We did some hard work. She had to really look at how much value she had put on getting this job, how much it did or didn't mean to her, and what the cost of that role, the cost to her life would have had on her. You know, sometimes we go for things that we think are such a great idea and such a fantastic opportunity that we don't stop to think about the impact on those around us and quality of life for everyone, and also what we'd have to give up to do it. We did some work, we did some unpacking. We increased her self-awareness around certain things, like how people may react to this high energy, very assertive woman that she is, which is fantastic. But if you're not communicating in an effective way, some people can find that intimidating. So we had some tough conversations around that, and she was genuinely uncomfortable. But through trust, through working in a positive environment, she got there. She decided to stay at the same company because she realized that really what she wanted to do was increase her visibility on the outside, speak at more events, make a difference to the world and the DEI space, help women succeed. And she stayed in a familiar environment that would free up time for her to work externally. She recently spoke after working with me on media presentation and speaker skills. She recently spoke at the World Economic Forum. She also spoke at COP28, and she is regularly featured by KPMG when DEI is featured in talking to clients and their employees. So she is doing incredibly well and living life to the full. I mean, she is living a fulfilled life. She had to make some tough choices and move away from things she thought were absolutely right for her. But her reputation externally has always been good. Internally, she struggled to come to terms with it. So she's doing great. She achieved this by using elements of the reputation model, which I'm going to be covering with you today. This is a simple, it's a simple model. It will remind you of things that you probably are already aware of, but we're going to talk about their application. And the reason it's in gold, do you see here, is because every element of reputation is a golden thread through your business. It's a behavior, It's a value. It is what you do, because whatever you believe about what you do and who you are, it's how you show up and how you act that builds your reputation. Reputation has changed immensely in the past 10 to 15 years. Can I have a quick show of hands? I can't see everybody, but who has used Uber ever? Right, okay, many of you. Right, good, thank you. Who has stayed in an Airbnb? Anyone stayed in an Airbnb or used Airbnbs? Good, just show of hands, be great. Thank you. Okay. So these are two very good examples. Who would ever have thought 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that we would have gotten into a car with someone that we hadn't actually looked in the face or was not driving a clearly indicated taxi? We basically getting into a car with a stranger. Or we would have ever gone to stay in a stranger's house, a house where we weren't sure where it was located. We didn't know how clean it was. We'd never met the owner. We hadn't even been formally introduced. But we show up there with a suitcase, a bag of supplies, and hope that there's a welcome basket. Our idea of where we get information about reputation and how we make our decisions has changed. It used to be very top down. It used to be some nebulous, reputation used to be some nebulous thing that we were told about, literally told by big governments, big companies, you know, buy my car because of this, this, and this. We might have turned around to a friend and say, you know, I'm going to buy this car, but what do you think? You know, we'd have asked a couple of people. Now, as we're living in the digital age, we go online and look at comments for whether someone who owned the Airbnb we were about to choose to stay in for a week or a few days puts out a nice welcome basket, whether it's clean, how many bathrooms it really has, what did the room look like when I really got there. Reputation is far more transparent in the digital age. We can check before selecting an Uber driver whether they keep a clean car, whether they're a smoker or not, whether they know where they're going. We make decisions based on things we read online. And that's the big difference now. Reputation is far more transparent, and that works to our advantage as well as our disadvantage. And this is why the reputation model is so important. When you've got these things in place, when you know how to leverage them and how to make them work for you, your reputation will grow. So let me talk about the reputation model. I feel like I should be holding up a little letter, but this one will do. This is not Sesame Street. This is the reputation model. R is for responsible. When you are responsible for your reputation, you are taking a conscious approach to developing it, knowing what makes it work. You're responsible about where you show up, and how you show up. You take a really intentional approach to building reputation. You know what it takes, and you know what it takes to build it. You've done the work. Ethics. People want to work with people who are ethical. People, which is a given, right? When you have your own business, you know how important ethics are. You know how important they are to your clients. But how do you show up as ethical? How do people know that that's key without talking to you? So demonstrating your ethics, showing that in your behaviors, really important. Preparation. Oh my goodness, I cannot put too much emphasis on preparation. It is so important. Always be prepared to respond to your clients' needs, to respond to opportunities, and know what you're responding with. So have stuff mapped out ahead of time. Know what it takes to be prepared for that opportunity so that you're ready to jump on it. Understanding what the needs are, understanding what the problems are, understanding what your reputation means to you, why you're doing what you're doing, going back to something I mentioned earlier. And clients that work with me get tired of me asking them, why are you there? Why are you going to that meeting? Why does that client want you to go to that meeting? Why does your boss want this information from you? So often we say, yes, I can do that, without really doing a bit of unpicking as to why I am there. Always know why you're there. Your time is so valuable. Know what you want to get from every opportunity, whether that's networking, whether it's a meeting, whether it's a workshop. Always know why you're there. Trust. We've talked about trust. Many of you highlighted the importance of it, which I love. It is such a key element to your reputation and building your reputation. I'm going to be unpacking that a little bit. I'll spend more time on that one in a little bit. Adaptability. I had to adapt to today. Something didn't turn up as it should, and I was ready to jump into adapting today's workshop. So our clients, our networks, everyone around us living in the digital age is adapting. Always be on the front foot. Always be there to add extra value. Be ready to adapt, even if it's something that you've been doing for years. Be open to maybe a new way of doing it. Do I need to change this up? A client could even be in a position where they highlight that for you. So be ready to adapt. Transparency. This was one of the, I think it might have been Kate Plummer who mentioned transparency in the chat just now. Be transparent. Transparent with your values, transparent with your purpose. Also in giving good news and bad news, you know, be ready to show up. Having that transparency and authenticity in your reputation is very, very important to your progress and your growth. Inclusivity, a key watchword of mine, but also very important in reputation. Because when you are inclusive, you make everyone feel like they belong. And when people feel that they belong, they feel seen and they feel heard. I'm sure we've all been in situations where we felt invisible or that someone's not paying attention. And we leave feeling that way, or we note it, it's instinctive. We have the opportunity with the Love Biz Awards coming up to be inclusive of everyone. So just be conscious of that. People will remember you for making them feel that they belonged, by seeing them, by listening to them, by including them. Opportunity, be part of preparation, be prepared for opportunities, but also make sure they fit your business. When you have a new business and you want to increase your income, it's easy for us all, I've done it, to jump on an opportunity that you think, yes, this is great, and you see the financial benefits of it, but it may not fit your business model entirely. And this is where awareness of what you stand for, awareness of your values is very important, and awareness of your ethics is really, really important, because that sometimes an opportunity doesn't fit. I worked with a QC when I was training, and he was asking for my help in coaching him to develop an opportunity, which when he talked to me about it, I was totally shocked. It was illegal, even though he was very charming in the way he communicated it. And I felt myself thinking, gosh, yes, I could see how this might work. I remembered who he was, and I remember what he was proposing. And above all else, I remember what my values were and my reputation. And I thought, privately, I thought, you're absolutely mad. But of course, I didn't say that in those terms quite that way. I was honest and open, but not quite in that way. So I walked away from that opportunity because it didn't fit. I'm not sure quite what came of it, but I keep, you know, a little flag up there to watch if it ever surfaced. So that would not have nurtured my reputation. I'm going to be pulling this one out to focus on as well. Nurturing your reputation is very important. It's an intentional, conscious effort to make sure that your reputation is protected. So let's pull out trust. I'm going to go through 8 top tips for building trust. Really important. Some of them glaringly obvious, you're probably aware of them and it's instinctive, but be conscious that this is a way for you to build even more trust and increase your reputation. Trust, once built, gives people the security to move into an area of uncertainty. This is best modeled going back to the earlier examples of Airbnb and Uber. They build trust with us through their reviews, through the transparency and accountability. Okay, by exposing an issue with a driver or a property, they become accountable for fixing it. So, and that builds trust. 8 top tips, here we go. Do what you say you're going to do and honor your commitments. So important. I'm sure we all do it, but life gets in the way, right? There's sometimes when we can't honor our commitments. Life happens. We've all been in that situation. Who would have thought that COVID would have happened, right? Who would have thought that life-changing event would change the way we do business going forward and also open up so many opportunities? But do what you say you're going to do and respond in good time if you cannot. So get out there, be brave. I know sometimes it's difficult to communicate tough news, but do it quickly, like ripping off a plaster. Be truthful, honest, and kind, even when it's tough. Going back to my QC, I really wanted to be totally open with my response to him, but I remembered that, you know, that would not be kind. So be kind, be thoughtful, plan it, be prepared. I often help people have tough conversations. We go into the uncomfortable and come back to what's comfortable. And it increases the trust level with people around them. Leaders, many leaders I've worked with, CEOs, have struggled to communicate bad news about bonuses, bad news about pay increases, bad news about whether you've got the job or not. But giving that information in a kind way and being compassionate has helped them communicate the message and stay in that trusting environment and relationship with that person. Listen actively. How many times do we feel seen and validated when people really listen to us? The more I'm out and amongst people, the more I don't want to be convinced that not listening is becoming a prevalent habit. I see it all the time when people are busy thinking about what they would rather be doing. Come back, anyone who's doing that right now. But seriously, where they'd rather be or the next thing they've got to do. So being present, quietening your mind, avoiding thinking of the next question, giving people the space to communicate with you and giving them your attention is really of very high value. High value in everything you do in building your reputation, but also to increasing trust. And there are certain habits, body language habits you can do that show people that you're listening. Communicate clearly. I hope this has been clear to you and the tips are clear. And I hope I'm doing that today. It's a golden thread that runs through my principles in building reputation. So communicate clearly and check in that you have. Ask questions. Does it make sense? Does this sit well with you? Because as communicators, it's our responsibility to be understood. Knowing that it's not the person listening to you's responsibility to understand, It's your responsibility to be understood. This puts you in a different mindset to how you communicate and who you're communicating with. DISC profiles will help you understand clients and how they receive information. So communicate effectively. Have the courage to say no. Gosh, when that fantastic opportunity is staring you right in the face and you think, I've got some reservations about this, but it sounds great, but I'm not sure it fits. Check it out. If it doesn't, don't risk your reputation to do it. And you'll know if it's not right because you'll already have done the work to understand what your values are and what's important to you. Because your reputation makes you stand out, right? And you want to stand out for doing the right things. And sometimes saying no is the right thing. Be honest about your emotions in a respectful way. Going back to my QC example, think about the impact of your words. Think about how you're coming across. Preserve your reputation and maintain that trust. Do what you believe in is right. When you know your values and you know your ethics, stick to them. They are your parameters for doing the right things and showing up how you want to show up. Sacrificing your values will compromise trust in you. Honesty is respected. Remember that. How am I doing on time, Sue?
You are on 1:44, so maybe a couple more minutes.
All right, let me whiz through nurture. Those of you who know me know I'm a gardener. I love gardening. I'm not particularly talented, and I always think it's a gift when something grows. So, you know, any gardeners, raise your hands. Right, okay, you know that good soil is important, feeding the plant is important, and the roots will help that plant show up with beautiful blooms and foliage. So nurturing your reputation is very important, and nurturing you. How do we do that? We spend quality time with people who want the same things. If you're going to run a marathon, you spend time with people who are going to run a marathon because they are thinking about what they're doing, what they're eating, how often they're training. You want to tap into their energy. You want to be part of that support group. Love Biz does that for us, right? We're all business owners. We all want to succeed, and Love Biz helps to provide that good environment for us to grow in. Evaluate what you listen to and read. Really important. That negative in, negative will come out. Stay in that positive mindset as much as you can. Be clear about your business plan. Prune away anything that's not producing. Tough decision to make when you realize that an area of your business is not working out, but be clear about why it's not, and be ready to say it's not and move on to something else. Know what success means. Success is personal. It's not the same for everybody. Being aware of that within yourself will help guide you to build your reputation and make decisions based on what success really means to you. Look at where you're showing up. How does it fit? Are you blooming in the right place? This talks to the visibility aspect of nurturing. Okay, where do you want to be shown up? Where do you want to show up? What do you want to be known for? Look for opportunities to grow your reputation. Once you know what that golden thread is that runs through it, what makes you you, go for it. Here's how you can work with me. My quiz is under construction right now. I'm happy to, it's a free quiz to do. And I was going to offer it today, but unfortunately can't for technical reasons. It will be available. It's fun, takes less than 5 minutes, and it will give you some analysis of where your reputation is. And I will meet with you for an analysis free session for 30 minutes. I'll also be launching another workshop, and I'd love to have you as part of that. I'd also love your feedback into what could make it really valuable for you. And I'm developing a waitlist right now. If you'd like to be part of that reputation movement, then let's talk. You can talk with me. Yeah, you can talk with me. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. I am happy to engage with you that way too. That's it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Julie. I love that.
How was that for you? Did I go through too fast? Oh,
Julie,
thanks, Kate. Great. Yes.
can you go back one slide to the nurture slide?
Yes, happy to do that. Oh, or even, yes,
Forward.
or even forwards or backwards. Adaptability, you said. Yeah.
Thank you.
Nurture.
Can you go back to the nurture slide for the last, it's not the nurture, the trust for the last one?
The trust, right. Linda, you asked me to go back to, was it you who asked me to go back to nurture?
Yeah.
What did you
Right.
write?
It was just the last one that I missed what you'd said on there, so I just wanted to write that down.
Proactively look for opportunities to grow your reputation.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
Yeah, if you don't proactively look for them, they may come looking for you. So being prepared is really important, and knowing which opportunities are good for you that will help your business and why. And Sally, did you say go back to the trust?
Yeah, because you whipped from 7 onto the next screen.
I did, didn't I? Because I was aware of time there. Do what you believe in, right. Sacrificing your values reduce your trust value.